Welcome back, life scientists. It is week 4, day 2. We're still talking about symbiosis, predator and prey relationships in our LS.8b and LS.8d unit. Let's get going. So, the agenda for day 2. Number 1, you're going to pull out those student workbooks. Make sure that, again, you have those handy throughout the entire video, throughout the entire activity. Number 2, I want you to scroll to the beginning of day 2. So if you have to pause at any point during this video, go ahead and do that now and look at your workbooks and make sure that you're at day 2 and not day 1. Now, once you're done, look back at this video. We're going to be taking notes on symbiosis using the video on the next slide. And then I'm going to give you a quick recap of symbiosis and give you something that helps me remember the 3 types that there are. And then we're going to take notes on predator and prey relationships. And the last 2 things, number 7, I'm going to be showing you a preview of the symbiosis card sort. And then we're going to be looking at number 8 to look forward to day 3 material for the end of this week. Let's go. So before we start the video, I want to make sure that you're looking at this page. This page is for day 2 symbiosis video notes. On the next slide, you're going to be watching a 4-minute video on the types of symbiotic relationships, what symbiosis is in the form of a cartoon that Scholastic has created for us to view. So make sure that you're on this page. And throughout the entire video, if you feel like you see the term, you see the definition, and you want to write that down without continuing the video, just make sure that you press pause and then just come back to it when you're ready. Let's begin. Let me see if I got the time right. Close. It's about 4 minutes long. I did it. There you go.
Rookie's such a good dog, RJ. Sometimes I wish I could take Rhinozilla for a walk like this.
He is pretty great, aren't you, Rook?
Sounds like Rookie agrees.
He's a smart pup. Come on, Rookie, let's go, come on.
Looks like Rookie might have some fleas.
Fleas? What? How do you know?
He's itching like crazy. There are probably fleas biting him.
Aw, poor Rook. Why are those mean fleas biting you?
It's just symbiosis, RJ.
Symbiosis?
Yeah, symbiosis. The relationship between 2 organisms in a community. The fleas bite Rookie because they need him for food.
They're eating him? Symbiosis doesn't seem like a good relationship for Rookie.
Well, in this case, it's not. There are 3 types of symbiosis. This type is called parasitism. Parasitism only benefits one organism and harms the other organism.
Rookie has parasites?
The fleas are parasites that get their food by living on or inside another animal or plant. Rookie is their host. It's pretty common. Barnacles on whales are parasites too, and so are ticks. Tapeworms are parasites that live inside animals and eat the food that the animals digest.
Gross. I'm no fan of symbiosis.
There are other types of symbiosis, RJ. Not all are bad, like commensalism.
How is commensalism better?
In commensalism, one organism benefits and the other organism is not harmed, like that bird living in the tree right there. The tree is a home for the bird, but the bird's nest doesn't hurt the tree at all. That flower climbing up the side of the tree is an example too. It's using the tree to help reach more sunlight, but the tree doesn't mind.
Sounds better than parasitism.
Definitely. And mutualism is even better.
When something is mutual, doesn't that mean it's shared?
Yeah, it goes both ways. Mutualism is a type of symbiosis where both organisms benefit, sort of like a friendship in nature. One of the coolest examples of mutualism ever is the relationship of a bird called the Egyptian plover with crocodiles. Instead of attacking the bird, the crocodile lets it eat the parasites that live on its body. The crocodile even opens up its mouth and lets the bird eat the parasites there. This helps the crocodile get rid of the parasites and helps the bird eat.
Wow, crocodiles are pretty scary. I can't believe they let the bird pick around on them like that.
Right? That bee and flower are a good example too.
Oh yeah, the bee helps pollinate the flower, and the flower gives the bee pollen to make honey. That's pretty mutual.
Yep, see? Symbiosis isn't all bad.
Nah, it's not always such a bad deal. At first I thought the only kind of symbiosis was parasitism, like Rookie's fleas. But there are different types of symbiotic relationships where organisms interact with each other in different ways.
Yeah, symbiosis is just the relationship between two organisms living together in an environment.
The three types of symbiosis are parasitism, mutualism, and commensalism. Poor Rookie is a host in a parasitic relationship with the fleas. The other two types of symbiosis are a better deal. Commensalism is cool because one organism benefits, but the other isn't harmed. And mutualism is pretty much shared. Both organisms benefit from mutualism.
Sounds like your relationship with symbiosis has come a long way. Even Rookie agrees.
I know what else Rookie will agree to.
What's that?
A flea collar. How's that sound, Rook?
Perfect. So thank you for watching that. Now for a quick recap on what symbiosis is. On to the next page. And you're going to see the example that was used in the video just to help practice with the symbols that I have to our left. You can use any types of symbols that can help you out. These plus, minus, and zeros help me, but if you want to use maybe like smiley faces, frowny faces, and maybe just like a face with no emotion, for example, that could help you remember who's benefiting, who's not. So for the crocodile has leeches in its mouth, and it needs to get rid of those leeches. The Egyptian plover, which lives in the same environment as the crocodile, eats leeches, and it needs to find a reliable source of food. So their relationship with each other is that the plover can easily get leeches from the crocodile's mouth, and it has a full stomach. So that, to me, for the plover is a plus sign in this relationship because the plover is getting food. And so now the crocodile doesn't like these leeches in its mouth. It needs an efficient and easy way to get rid of them. The Egyptian plover gives that to them because they eat it. So the crocodile also gains a plus sign, a positive benefit from this relationship. So to reiterate, this would be an example for mutualism in this environment. Now it's time for the predator and prey video. This video actually has more information on symbiosis, as well as talking about the relationship between these new scientific terms that we're going to be learning. I'm going to cut this video short at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but if you wanted to watch the rest, to see more examples of symbiosis, go on youtube.com, find the Amoeba Sisters channel, and just look for ecological relationships. So I'm going to go ahead and press play now. Make sure that you are now at the predator and prey portion of our student workbook that looks like this. So let's get started.
I really did not like sandboxes as a kid. It's not that I have a problem with sand, or sand on the beach, or sand castles, just sand boxes. See, as a little kid, I'd play with something, then I'd kind of forget about it, and then rediscover it, and it'd be all new again. This is what happened with my sandbox. Except, when I rediscovered it, the sand had all these tiny holes in it. My dad was with me and exclaimed, "Why, look at that, your sandbox is full of antlions." Perhaps my dad should not have assumed that I knew what antlions were. I eventually figured out what they were later on, and it makes sense now because my father really loves insects. Antlions are insects. In their adult form, they sort of look, in my personal opinion, like a less cool version of a dragonfly. They are not a dragonfly. But in their larva stage, they look, well, not like many things I can compare it to. They have these mandibles and they make these sand pit traps. And then they wait with their mandibles just showing above the surface. When an ant or other small insect walks over their sand pit, they drag it in. They pull the ant underground, biting it and injecting it with enzymes to digest it in order to consume the ant's juices. I also have learned by watching them that they toss sand at their ant victim too if they need help subduing it before they drag them under. Thankfully, antlions are small. In fact, doodlebug is evidently another name for these things. I'm not exactly sure how you go from antlion to doodlebug, but okay. It's all relative. They're bad news for an ant, because the antlion is a predator of the ant. The ant is their prey. That's an ecological relationship right there. And that's what we're going to talk about, ecological relationships. Typically, if we were to graph the predator and prey populations in our example, when the population of ants in this confined area increase, it is likely that the antlions, which are the predators, also will increase over time because they have more food to eat. However, if the antlions increase too much, there won't be enough ants, which are the prey, to feed on. So the antlions will decrease. You can see that relationship in this predator and prey graph. In most ecosystems, predator and prey graphs go up and down frequently. It cycles. Also, just because this antlion is a predator doesn't mean that this is the only role it plays. An antlion can get eaten by a bird. Now the antlion has just become the bird's prey.
All right, I'd like to stop this video here with a quick shout out to food webs and food chains. Remember that these white arrows here represent where energy is flowing within the ecosystem between these prey and these predators. So let us continue on. So now that we're looking at this sheet for the continuation for day 2, make sure that you include your definitions for predator and prey here from the video, and then examples in the video that you would like to use. Now you can use that antlion example with ants, or if you have an example using your prior knowledge, you can include that here as well. Now, for the last question that I've had, why is the relationship between predator and prey also considered a cycle? You can look back at the video closer to the end, nearing 2 minutes and 40 seconds, or I have this slide for you to look at too. This population size and time graph depicts what happens to the amount of predator population and the amount of prey population in regards to their relationship with each other. Now, keep note of this disclaimer that the Amoeba Sisters have up there. Not all predator and prey graphs look like this, but to help explain what goes on between the numbers of prey and predator, this actually helps out a lot. So look at this when you're looking at your last question for your chart. So we're nearing the end. So now we're looking at the symbiosis card sort. Is your activity for day 2 for you to practice your figuring out and distinguishing between the 3 types of symbiotic relationships by dragging and dropping different descriptions and different pictures of what's going on between 2 organisms. And now for our day 3 things. Make sure that you check out the Legends of Learning playlist that we have for this unit. Teacher code here is Nunez J1. And then also, for further practice and evaluation, complete the quizzes on symbiosis and predator and prey. You'll be looking at questions that will help you practice remembering and understanding these scientific terms that we've learned throughout this week. And please, if you found any work or any responses that you'd like for me to see, go ahead and just email me, and I'm just going to include this because I haven't yet. Email me at jnunez@rvaschools.net. Can't wait to see your responses, and I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you. Bye-bye.